This
We have
conference will now be recorded.
ND Parish. All right, so let's call the work session meeting to order at 6:02 p.m. So Dee, we'll start off with you. We just got a handout on those on the playground plans or a playground idea. Do you want to tell us a little about that?
Yep. So, all right. So originally when we started looking at commercial equipment, it was minimum around $30,000 per piece of equipment. Then residential, which is a lot cheaper, it runs anywhere between $1,500 and like $4,000, which is more like a backyard scenario. Wood Kingdom has what they call their industrial, which is like a third cheaper than commercial, but more money than residential. So it's about the example I gave you guys runs anywhere between 5,000 and 6,000, but they have a lot of different pieces. But again, it's all in the same realm that it's a third cheaper than the commercial property. The other thing is that they offer ground surfacing, which right now we have fiberfill. They have another kind of fiberfill, which is a rubber fiberfill, or we can actually even look into possibly doing a solid soft surface that would last longer underneath the equipment. So I think if we agree to go with this industrial equipment and look at some of the different surface options, not what we have there, that wouldn't have to be replaced every year. We can definitely, they will come install it once we pick out what we want. They'll put the surface down underneath it. They will remove what's there for a fee. But I think we could stay in the budget of 15,000 or lower. So I just want to make sure everyone is okay with that it's not going to be commercial grade. And I know the insurance company was looking for that, but we would not even be able to buy one piece of equipment if we go commercial grade.
And it's not getting the use of school weekend.
No, I agree. I like the idea of the.
That sounds good. But Dee, when you said the insurance company would like that, does that mean they will not like this, or
No.
is it going to impact our insurance
They
rate?
just recommend it. They've been recommending it on the current playground equipment for as long as we've had them. It's just recommendations that they give us every year when they assess the kids.
I mean, we'll like the price, and I think the residents are gonna really like it. We can get more pieces. We can get something like the example I gave you, a swing set, and maybe something else, like a third piece down there with a better surface area underneath it that would be honestly 1/3 of the price, maybe even less, because, you know, if we did that commercially, you're talking up like $80,000, $90,000 for those three pieces of equipment and the surfacing.
No, this sounds ideal, as long as there's no issues with the insurance company and there's no issues of liability, or they don't cover a loss or something like that.
I like the ground, that spongy ground instead of the fiberfill.
Yeah.
How does that hold up over did they tell you anything about how that holds up, Dave?
The surface can hold up anywhere up to 10 years if we do the soft surface. If we do the rubberized fiberfill, they have rubber instead of like the wood chips. That's like a 3 to like 7 year. But again, we'd have to fill it in, but not at the rate that we're doing now. It would only have to be filled in maybe every 4 or 5 years. It doesn't deteriorate like the fiberfill. And they have all different colors, so we could pick something that's natural to the environment and fits down in the park the right way.
Yeah.
Second.
Right, so that's I mean, I think that for me, I think that it's probably the happiest medium we can find, so.
Okay, so why don't I pick out a couple of different pieces of equipment and send you guys the link if you want to look through it, see if there's anything you see. And then with that, I'll also send the link for the surfaces, and you can see that. And then we can get a price from them, what it would be. It's going to be, you know, at least 2 or 3 months before we see the equipment, because that's how long it's taking them to fill the orders now.
Well,
So
then
we might not have it for this summer, but we might have it like towards the end of the summer.
Yeah, you do.
we would still have to bid that we just still have to set it up for a bidding process, no?
You would have to ask Joe Prokop, but the amount is, it might not have to be because it's, I mean, we can bid it, but the truth is, I don't know if you're gonna get it cheaper anywhere else.
No, I'm not doing it to get it cheaper. I'm just wanting to, just make sure we're under the bidding guidelines, that's all.
Mm-hmm. Yep,
Usually need like 2 verbal, anywhere from 1,000 to 5,000.
Oh.
And then, you know, you have to, but we could do that, obviously, still in the time frame.
Even in that time frame.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
All right, that's, so we'll do that. We'll look for those,
Or you could add a resolution now, to okay with that, for me, to just bid it out and then, you know,
get the ball
we'll
rolling.
get it rolling.
We're all saying the soft solid surface, not the fire.
Well, I think once we don't have to make that commitment yet. I think right now we just make a commitment on getting the ball rolling.
yeah, I'll send the link and you guys could look at the different ones and see the prices and we can go from there. I'll send it out tomorrow to everybody.
I'm saying if Cindy's gonna bid it out, then you're getting, you know, a real matrix approach where you're getting competitors bidding at foam and solid surface and.
Oh, they probably, I mean, who knows? They might give options of all those items on the bid. You know, It's just how the bid is written. It's
We
just,
could ask them.
Yep, and Chris, why don't you check with Joe? I don't know if we have to bid it out if we're just replacing playground equipment.
I'll definitely ask when he, when he gets here.
Okay,
He's coming in, at.
okay.
6.
Sounds great, dude, good job.
I'm sorry it took so long.
Okay. Next up, we have an update on the Earth Day project at Trustees Park.
Yeah, so, Tina asked me to reach out to, Fran Sayer and Alex. They, basically are willing to donate, some money and time, to help with our Earth Day project. Basically, they were doing something with their own business where they were donating, I think, 1,000 tree saplings throughout the community, and they said that they'd be willing to donate some money to replace some trees here in our village. So I talked with her briefly, and we think that the best option is to replace a couple trees right here in Trustees Park, from where we removed 2 trees at the end of this parking lot right before the playground. There's a couple old stumps, and it's really bare right there. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a field trip to a local nursery, talk to some experts, and see what the appropriate trees would be to purchase. And I'm not sure, somewhere in the neighborhood of 1 to 3, you know, medium-sized trees. We'll do a replacement project. And we're going to have a little celebration on Earth Day where she's going to have some T-shirts and seeds and cookies and so on. And we'll make it a whole event from 11 till 1.
Is it
on-
for kids?
Yeah, kids, families, everything. It's already been posted on Tina.
What was the
April 23rd.
April 23rd, Earth Day weekend, 11 to 1, right here in Trustees Park. And we'll send another follow-up communication
That's a
just to remind
nice
everybody. Yeah, really great. Not costing us anything and
I like it.
create some community spirit and beautify our neighborhoods.
That's great. Dyer's Court drain, we're definitely moving forward with that.
Next couple of weeks.
It should be in process within the next couple of weeks. They will be replacing 2 dry wells and paving a portion of Dyer's Court over there. So that'll get going, and then then we'll see where FEMA is on in the process of working that through FEMA. So we'll see how that goes with them. So that's the latest and greatest on that. Code enforcement vehicles did you have an update on code enforcement vehicle, if there's any?
Chris, there's no update.
Oh,
I emailed the dealer again,
Okay,
and he didn't get back to us. I also CC'd Cindy on that email, so we didn't get a response back.
all right, so we're probably gonna have to start I would just love to know, if we're not getting a response, I want to get a response. So we'll have to prioritize more calls to him. Cindy will probably do that. And it doesn't hurt to just get as many, Frank, you and Cindy both firing calls his way until we get a response of where that's at. That'd be great.
Will do.
Looking at the dock opening, we've got Pete Murphy scheduled to do it. We're hoping to have that done within the next couple of weeks, depending on tide. So by May 1st, I think would be optimal.
Are there any repairs that need to be done? We have to
Nothing.
do- Is it all good to go this season? 'Cause last year we had some stuff we had to take care of before we put the floats in. Do we need,
Oh, just like we had missing pieces.
Yeah. I don't know, if maybe, I don't know, you want Mike to go down and look at it, or someone to go down and take a look at it before they drop it in the water? If there's anything that needs to be done. I don't think there's anything. I think we did repairs, but I don't know if there was anything left over.
Yeah, I wasn't told when it came out that there was anything wrong with it,
Alright.
so, but yeah, I'd like to look at it, that'd be great. If you
I'll
guys
have,
want to
I'll
walk by.
have him just take a peek and make sure that it looks decent.
And then hopefully Pete will, I gotta reach out to him actually, and make sure he gets a hold of us before he does it, because we need the pin.
Well, he has it.
Oh, he kept all that stuff this year? Good, good. That's good. That was a mystery last year. Street sweeping, Cindy, where are we at? What did they, you said we had 2 bids on that?
Yeah,
Okay.
so we'll do that at the public
Great.
hearing.
So we'll get that done at the public
Is there a
hearing.
public hearing? You want to talk about it now?
Well, I don't know if did we write a bid opening? I don't think we-
No,
I don't
it's
think
not,
we have-
didn't need that. Yeah,
Okay.
it didn't need that.
So talk about it, let's go.
Let's go.
All right. So we got an estimate from Dejana Industries. The fee for sweeping was $1,585 per sweep for the sweeper to sweep designated village roads based on based on an 8-hour minimum. And the off-site disposal was $75 per cubic yard. And then the person who did it last year, Eastern Environmental Solutions, also gave us an estimate, and his was $1,525 per day.
Same deal, 8-hour day kind of thing?
Yeah, I believe so, but I don't, it's written in here, yeah. And then transport was $525 per transport. I don't know, disposal of non-hazardous than $82 per yard.
But the other bid didn't talk about the,
This was 75 per yard.
Yeah, 75 versus 82.
Okay, 75 per yard and 82 per yard.
So it's kind of like, well, probably when you break it down, it's probably the same exact price.
yeah.
Yeah,
But
what-
this
what's
one,
very close.
but Dejana didn't mention the yard boxes,
They say something about
right?
they're charging too.
$525 per transport, in
Yeah.
addition to the $82?
For Eastern?
Yes.
Yeah. But Dejana doesn't say anything about that at all. I didn't know.
What's the big difference?
Last year, I think what the John did, they brought
No, Eastern.
Eastern rather brought a dumpster down, right? Isn't that what they did? They,
So that they didn't
Transported
have
the
to go back
dumpster?
and forth.
I think so. It's like when they had a dumpster down at Walmart,
Right, and they only made one trip.
and they one trip. That's how they did it last year. So,
Were we happy with them?
So it's $525 plus $82 per yard
it's $1,525
per day.
per day, plus $82 per yard.
And what was the $525 per transport?
That's the movement, that's the moving
That's to
of
take the dumpster
of the
out.
dumpster.
You know,
Okay, so it's an addition.
So Dejana is gonna do what? They're gonna keep running back and
I
forth?
guess they're gonna keep running back and forth.
Because they didn't give us
So
the
what's
price
that gonna
on
cost?
the dumpster, right?
They didn't give us a price on the
No.
dumpster.
You know,
I imagine they would just run the truck, run it out of the village, come back.
To where?
You know, and I guess back to the village to finish the day.
I mean, where are they gonna run it? How far, where are they gonna go?
Oh,
They're
where
in
the
Kings
offices
Park,
are.
aren't they?
Yeah, I guess they're in Kings Park.
she said Westbury.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's why it was corporate headquarters. They have a couple spots, but I don't know.
Mm.
I don't know. It sounds a little less informative to me. I like Eastern's a little better because at least we know that they're, well, they did it last year and,
They did it so short.
I'd give it to them.
I would too.
How many days did it take them last year?
I think it was what we could afford. It was, I think we did 2 days.
Chris, in the past, we've had Giuliano, but the problem is that they say they're coming and then there's always an issue why they can't show up.
Okay. Yeah,
The truck broke down, but they're really stuck in other jobs because they get stuck into these big, municipalities and then they're there longer than they think. So it delays them getting to us.
yeah, our goal this year is to hopefully get it done in one day. I think what we're gonna do is, really just get the streets we want done and hopefully, stop it in a day. That'd be ideal. I mean, I don't know what you all think about the village streets, if you have any glaring areas of complaints, but, you know, we can cruise around and get a list, but I don't know that they're gonna, hitting every street in the village is a multi-day job. So
Yeah,
we have
but
to-
you
we
know
have to
what?
prioritize.
There's certain areas that are not, I mean, you go to the end of Washington and that's always packed with sand.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah,
there's
no, that's what I'm
certain-
saying. We want
Yeah.
certain
The
areas.
older
we
part,
want
the older
other
part is definitely worse than the
Yeah.
newer
Oh,
part.
yeah.
And it's also a question of usage. I mean, down there's a lot of people walking, I don't know, like Walnut, Washington. It's where all the hills are, the rest of it.
That's what gets heavily sanded. And I'm fine setting a cap, you want to set a dollar amount limit for them and say, do what you can up to $5,000 or whatever, not to exceed $5,000. That'll be the less than 2 days. So.
Yeah, so we'll have to schedule them and then we'll talk to them about what streets we want them to do. And we'll see if we give them a list and they say about the 2-day thing, then we'll know that's it.
Okay.
All right. So drain cleaning is the next big job we have to do. So I don't think we have put that out we haven't approved any bidding on that yet, but that's the next thing I think we need to push to bid. How many did we do last year? Cindy sent me the list, but I didn't look at it. But we were overloaded. We did a bunch last year, didn't we? In the village, I feel like. Did you ever like get the frogs come out of them and all that stuff?
Oh, the frogs, don't say that to Dee, her head will explode.
Exactly. We need a whole day just to do California Park.
Say that again?
We needed a whole day just to do California Park, which is usually the norm. I'm not sure if there's any other ones. Have we gotten any complaints from residents that were saying the drains are backing up?
No.
Not when it's raining, downpour. I'm talking just on a normal everyday rain.
No.
There's just 1 or 2 down by California Park.
So you may only need one day and just do California Park. That always seems to be the worst because everything rolls down Washington.
Yeah. All right, that'll be easy enough to organize. Update on the Walnut Beach poll. What is up with the Walnut Beach poll?
Go ahead, Cindy, take it away.
We're plugging away each step. I completed the step. We had to move the no parking sign to.
Did that happen?
zone
Okay.
Bench, whatever you call it, and now Verizon will come and do some kind of survey and assess and take the poll.
Yeah, they don't give you a timeline, though, right?
They don't give you a timeline, but the guy is really good from Verizon, so.
Yeah, I have to say, I'm pretty confident. Don't you think we'll have it done by Memorial Day weekend?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be great.
Mhm.
Okay, good. Let's write that down. It'll hold us to that.
Mhm.
Let's see. So D, gas service, how's that going?
So gas service has been approved for Washington and Chestnut, where now we've already, we ended up getting 28 applications in for the residents on those 2 streets. And they will be sending it to design and construction on Monday. So it looks like we have, do you guys hear an echo or no?
No, you're good.
No, I'm good.
Okay, so they, that process of design and construction takes anywhere between 4 to 8 months, and then they'll start construction. So in the meantime, I will put together an email list of the residents who were interested on Washington and Chestnut to start filling out permits for gas service with the village. So once the line is run, then they're ready to go, they can hook up. And then I could send updates to those residents as I get them from National Grid.
Great, so that's better than where we were last month, where we weren't sure if they were going to do all this because of, like, the moratoriums and all of that. Is that?
Yep, we got approved. We got approved for the 28 houses, and that's it. It's moving forward.
Awesome.
So you can really take that off the list. If I have any updates, I can let you know, but mostly I'll just be emailing the residents that applied for the service.
Awesome. That's
Okay.
great. I still got you here for the court grant for the village hall. This is
The new layout.
the new layout.
Okay, so the original layout that we had was to bump out the village hall going to the side where Code's cars are by 8 feet. The cost to do that back in 2020 was around $58,000 to $63,000. So we have to spend this $30,000 within 6 months that we receive the grant money. So here's some options that I was thinking is that, do we maybe do the podium part? Because that could be part of the construction. Is there something else in Village Hall, like maybe redoing the bathroom, making it, maybe more handicap accessible up to code or something? Something that the court uses that we also could benefit from, that we don't have the funds to do, a project that's double the grant right now, but maybe looking at that later on. So I don't know what you guys think. I don't want to lose the money. I want to use it for something, but I'm not sure what we could use it for.
So just thinking about that last idea with the bathroom and the podium, I wonder, I think that's a great idea. I wonder if we wouldn't also be able to apply. Remember how we did for the dock? We were able to get ADA grant there. Is that something we possibly able to get there as well?
We could go to town of Brookhaven and see if we could use that. And between town of Brookhaven and the grant, we have enough to redo the bathroom and also build the podium.
Right.
Right?
This diagram that we're looking at, that's the current size of this room that I'm seeing here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, a 5-seat podium. That's what we're looking at.
Yeah, so it'd be very similar to the way Port Jeff was when we used their building, but not as big, but would be fitting to scale here. So court would use that and we would use that and change the chairs so we could, eventually we would be able to accommodate, you see all the seating. And at the time when we were thinking about doing this project, we had a lot more people coming to the village meeting, so it made sense. But maybe it makes more sense now to have a bathroom, you know what I mean?
Right.
Instead of the podium?
Well, we could, like what Chris said, if we could maybe get some money from the town of Brookhaven for, handicap access, then we might be able to do both. The bathroom would be $30,000, you know that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Otherwise, you're talking about basically knocking out this wall and blowing it back another
Well, that's
20, 30 feet or whatever it is, right?
definitely. Is that much though?
Yeah, I think what we're seeing here is the new design is not feasible. So we're really looking at the old design, but where there's a podium built here.
I see. I got you. Okay. That's not existing.
Yeah.
Right.
So the podium would be installed here, and then
Are we blowing out anything? Are we?
we wouldn't be moving any exterior walls. It would just
Nothing.
we'd just be building a podium. Yeah, I guess you could remove that closet. It's not even on here.
Yeah.
So.
You're talking about $30,000 just to build up a platform
No, in the bathroom.
and the bathroom.
Right.
Oh,
Well, the bathroom is, the look of it is the bathroom actually, isn't it changing too? Like they're changing the.
No, we would just be keeping this is,
But this is like existing, right?
yeah, this is our existing design.
Oh, okay. I thought it looked like the bathroom walls were moving.
just so that the door is going from opening in to opening out.
But there's no shower or bathtub or anything. I don't think that would be $30,000.
No, but
Well, I think what we're trying to do is not lose the money. So
No, I know.
whatever it is, even if it's a $15,000 job for the podium and the bathroom, we do that, they claw back the remaining $15,000.
no, the bathroom's gonna be like
You know,
15, by
No, I don't
itself,
wanna
15,
put that.
20 by itself at least, I'd say, you know?
Just for a sink and a toilet?
Well, they're gonna gut it, right? They're gonna redo the whole thing.
We're not changing plumbing, you're just upgrading fixtures.
Well, it depends if
Well,
what you're
the
gonna do
toilet
in
was
terms of
higher.
making it.
Yeah, the ADA compliant.
Well, no, you have bars, but you're really not changing plumbing, you're just changing
I don't know if
fixtures.
the doorway's the right size.
Yeah.
Probably. You might have to redo that, move some stuff, well, whatever, I mean,
I guess
That
that's, we have
was an
to,
example. If you guys have something else better, it's just the point is that we're running out of time, so we can't really, we have to pick something and do it, or they will take the money back. And
is there any way, I guess we could find out from, the court clerk or whoever, I guess she established the grant, right? She was the one who applied for it.
yes,
Is there any way to get an extension on it? I mean, it's such a hard and fast rule. That's like such a,
Well, I think you just have to have one bill. She said. You don't have to like spend it in there. You just have to show that you're using it with, you know, architect fee or something like that. That's the way she explained it to me.
well, I mean, I'm just looking at the walls. Well, you could paint the walls, right? Yeah,
Some new furniture.
lighting. I mean, I guess there's a lot of things we can do for this particular room as is.
right, we could upgrade the security system. I mean, there's a million things. I'm just saying that we should come up with it and get it going so that we can tell them that we have a project and they don't take the money back.
is there any room, we had spoken a while ago about possibly having like a generator, not necessarily like is there any room for that kind of thing?
I think you really have to connect to court.
Oh,
Right.
It's a court grant, so I think that'd be stretching it.
What's the timeline, Dee? When does it expire?
6 months from the time that we got the grant, and I'm not exactly sure when we got it.
We got it last week.
Oh, okay, good.
So,
But, you know, time goes fast, month by month, all of a sudden, you know. I mean,
well, that's-
maybe we
I
should
guess
look at upgrading security, maybe we should upgrade painting. I mean, those are small things that we can do and make a big impact on the building.
I think we
Some
should repaint.
furniture.
I don't know about furniture, I mean, well, this table, it's kind of functional, but if you're gonna build a podium, this table probably
disappears anyway.
disappears anyway.
But I think that that's a good start. If we're looking at security, upgrading it, you know, hey Frank, I mean, what do you think about just an updated security as part of the court process, as part of the court grant? You know, you think that's something we could utilize? You know, cameras
Yes,
and all that?
absolutely.
Get a call?
Absolutely. We do need to replace one of the cameras in the meeting room, and we could definitely use some additional cameras on the outside of Village Hall.
All right, that would actually work. So that's probably the path we need to go. We just have to organize how to get it there. But at least we have a direction. So podium,
Painting.
upgrading the room itself, maybe with light fixtures and maybe you know,
Paint,
paint, right?
and then the
Window.
security system, right?
Window treatments.
I have to, when you're doing that extent of improvements, you may have to do ADA.
That's something we'll have to think about. I mean, the building itself is already there, right? We already have that from the front entrance, but
It may be required when you're doing that kind of.
Where we, I mean, it would,
What exactly?
the public area would be ADA, you don't have to worry about the back room.
Well, I don't know, but the bathroom.
Yeah, no, but I think that would be, if we did the bathroom over, we should definitely do it ADA compliant.
Yeah.
absolutely.
I think you have to, yeah. That's gonna be tight. Probably 36, I think 36 inches is the minimum ADA requirement, right?
We'd have to look into that. Once we started doing that, though, then we could do, like you were saying, we'd have to look into, there is money out there for those kinds of renovations. So I guess the first step is figuring out how we organize this work and start getting bids on the jobs. I guess that's the first real step on it. But at least that's the direction.
Jacqueline, would you want to send an email to Village Court, letting them know what we're thinking?
Sure.
Okay.
Just make a nice building.
I wonder if, I wonder if does Paul have any ideas on it? You know,
That's wishful.
yeah. It'd be-
Go right now.
I think that's the right way to go. I think the next thing we need to do is figure out who's managing this. I mean, is this something that we manage from the court side, or is this something that we're gonna end up managing?
No, I think the
Here.
clerk's office, the way Leslie talks, I think it's just us.
Us? Okay, all right. So next step is to start getting pricing on. Frank, can you give me an idea what you would want for security for this space if you had the ability to get what you wanted? I'd love to know what that would cost. Just a ballpark on that.
Yes, I could do that for you.
Great.
You'd have to put, now, this is something that would have to go out to bid too, right?
Yeah.
So do we have to go out to bid to get approximations just for discussion purposes, or do we get an idea?
I think we go with what we have an idea of doing and we bid that out.
But we have to get an idea financial, like we have to get a number. We know what we know what we have. Do we know what the cap is, what the amount of money?
30,000.
30,000,
Yeah.
okay. So, all right.
Plus if you can get ADA.
Plus
Plus
if we can get
ADA.
ADA.
If you can get it.
Right, if we can get it. Oh, hey, Joe.
Hey, Joe.
Hi,
We're still in the work session, so you're right on time.
okay.
Anything else on court grant? I guess for right now, what we'll do with that is Frank will get us an idea of what the security upgrade would cost there. Joe, do you know if we were to do any kind of, I mean, this would be hardly renovation. If we put a podium in this courtroom, repainted and upgraded the lighting in this room, would that trip any triggers to cause us to do any ADA compliance in this building?
No,
Okay.
it has to be a substantial improvement. I don't think that would be included.
But if we thought the bathroom could be upgraded, that would be something we'd have to do ADA, right?
I think if the bathroom was upgraded, it would have to be ADA compliant. Yes.
But I'd like to get a price on that too,
Yeah, I think so.
so I guess we'll just have to start doing that. Because the painting is small. The podium itself, I imagine, is going to be a big job, but the bathroom would be a big job. So maybe get a bid on the bathroom, and Frank will get us numbers on the video and the other stuff we can kind of piecemeal.
I can get you an approximate on the bathroom, nothing official, obviously. I know people in the business.
I have a connection, but I didn't want
You want to use my connection?
to like be imposing on your connection.
Oh, well, that's a different
It's the same person.
All right, so I guess that moves us a little bit forward on that.
Who's gonna contact whoever it is for the ADA though? Do you need me to do that? Steve, do you want to do that? I think we should find out if there's a budget there, because that'll affect all the decisions. Because if we don't have a budget.
Who you spoke to in the town of Brookhaven?
Yeah, I remember who I went to. I can call them up. I can also look at from the federal side too. It's a possibility there. So, frankly, it could be there's a few places we can look at. So I'll look at those spots. I'll get in touch with Brookhaven. Brookhaven.
So we're saying podium.
ADA. Also check with beds.
Podium, bathroom,
Podium, bathroom,
repainting and lighting.
security.
Right, well, I'm just saying as far as construction, because.
Construction is the bathroom.
Podium,
and the podium.
bathroom, repainting
And
and lighting, right?
It may be the threshold.
Yeah,
Where,
for ADA,
Yeah.
right. Okay, and is this something that we should run past Paul, or just?
Well, I think that's what.
Yeah, I'm gonna talk to
I
him.
think
Oh,
that-
okay.
Yeah, I'll pop down and talk to him.
Cool.
All right, anything else about that? good. So let's move on to the newsletter. How's that going?
So newsletter, I've got, I do want to go in the history direction. I want to do some new neighbor stuff. I want to do a little bit, since there has been a lot of chatter about Polk Park's history, and it might be a motivation to get a group, as, you know, residents are always really enthusiastic about having historic archives. I have volunteered that if someone wants to gather it, I'll do a book for Village Hall, I'll do its own website. A lot of people have been talking about it, so I think maybe we can go in the direction of a little bit touch on history, some stuff for new neighbors, and then just, you know, to use John's recipe. But if we're all good with that, we'll do a little history.
Did you share with?
Oh, and then I got that,
Tina,
the other
that-
thing,
that-
yeah,
okay,
from
good,
the PSCG, that-
No,
the diggings, wasn't it?
no, the old, the bicentennial of Tocqueville, or whatever that was, the history thing you sent me that you scanned for me.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah.
Send that to me.
No, there was also the documents you sent me from National Grid, as far as, before you start doing work, you had sent me to consider putting in the newsletter. The 811 to call, yeah?
Okay, I don't remember. but-
No, you sent it to me a couple of weeks ago. I put it aside. It's part of my
Okay.
newsletter gathering. So
But the
hopefully
document
I'll
that
send you
Cindy
that,
has is from,
okay, so I'll
a
come
while
and get
back,
that
so.
from you, and then next meeting, I'll have a proof.
cool.
Yeah.
So that's update on that. So we're up to you, Joe, if you have any open items for us to discuss.
Yeah, a few things. So I'm sorry, I missed gas service, but you know, I wanted to bring to everybody's attention that it's my understanding that the governor and the legislature now is trying to do away with new hookups for natural gas and also oil, natural gas and oil installations. You know, both the hookup to the street and also the equipment. So anybody that has any interest in this, they should try to do it, I think, as soon as possible, rather than waiting.
Joe, I don't mean to interrupt you, but I think they missed a deadline. National Grid told me it had to be in by April 1st. Their application.
Okay.
So I'm not sure. Maybe that changed, but that's what they told me, like a few weeks ago when we got all the applications.
Okay. So okay. But this will be a statewide law also. Okay. Well, the next thing that I wanted to touch on was we had just mentioned to you, if you're not aware, we had a new the associate judge sat at court in March and did a really great job, and everything went very comfortably and procedurally well and smoothly. And so if you hear him or see him, thank him. I don't think he doesn't live in the village, but you may see him around, and he did a great job. The other things, do you want me to just touch on a couple of local laws now, or would you want me to wait for the public hearing?
Let's wait for the public hearings. We have a couple residents that are going to want to get involved, so.
Okay, I think that's it. You know, that's it on the legal front. I know that I owe, I said this last month also, I got the paperwork together from my records and also the court clerk, and I will be providing as best I can my notes on what took place on each of the court dates. I'll try to get that over in the next couple days. And
Because I'm doing the report for the next audit next week, so that's what I'm gonna put it with. That'll be great.
okay, part of the problem has been that I can't read my own handwriting because I'm standing while I'm doing this and, you know, taking notes really quick. But I figured out how to convert the court calendars that I get in advance, how to convert them to Word, and then typing in my notes, and then reconverting it back to PDF, so at least somebody else could read it. So I'll do that and get it over to you.
Yeah, that's great. Okay.
And the other, I don't know if it was mentioned, but the Suffolk County Village Officials Association is having a dinner next week, I think on Wednesday next week at the Indigo Hotel in Riverhead. And that Hotel Indigo, and that's always a really nice occasion for people to go to. You can meet other public officials and trustees and, trade stories and find out things that their village are doing, that could be helpful to Poquat. So like, if there's any way we could get a couple people to go to that, that'd be great. And I think it's next Wednesday. There is a cost. I forget if it's $65 or $75 each. Normally the village would pay for it. I don't know if you want to make a motion for that or ask people to pay themselves. I'm not sure, but it's well worth. It's an awards night where some public officials get awards, and there'll be people there that will be worth meeting and conversing with.
All right. Something worth thinking about.
That's all I had. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Joe. Anything else for the work session? Good. All right. We will adjourn.
If you want to go.
We'll adjourn the work session at 6:45. Motion to adjourn. All in favor?
You got my second. I was distracted. Not on my game.
All right. So unless anyone needs to take a break, we can jump right into the work session. Good. All right. Let's call the Board of Trustees work business meeting to order at 6:45. Start off with the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'm going to go through announcements. Village election is scheduled for June 21st. We do need election inspectors. Anyone interested should reach out to Village Hall. We have a couple of Poquat Community Association events. John mentioned it earlier, the Earth Day celebration for Poquat families and kids, Saturday, April 23rd from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. in Trustees Park, sponsored by residents Fran Sayre and Alex Goldberg. The event will feature tree planting, kids activities and giveaways, and sweet treats by resident Danielle Goldenberg. There will also be an introduction to organic gardening, Tuesday, May 3rd, 7 p.m. at Trustees Park. This will be hosted by resident Bonnie Sauer. I hope that's right. This event will feature an organic gardening expert and compost soil for resident gardeners. Please visit Poquat Community Association website for more details at www.poquatcommunity.com.
Wow, you sound like a talk show host. I want a trip to Italy or something.
Oh, there you go. All right, so now we'll open it up to public hearings. So just a reminder, the public hearings, each hearing will be for that specific item for residents to comment on. And then we do have a public comments section later for items that are not covered in the public hearings. We don't have anyone online, so our first public hearing, I'll open the public hearing for the village budget for fiscal year 2022-2023. And before we get started, I just would have maybe Ron just give us notes of the budget overall, or.
All right, well, the biggest item that's going to be a discussion, maybe a discussion point, is the increase in the amount that is dedicated to snow removal. It's been apparent last year, when I say last year, the last fiscal year, the village got hit more than twice of what was an annual budget. This year, we got hit hard again, and we didn't have a lot of snow. So this year, we're probably going to end up somewhere around 55,000, maybe a little bit more, between 55 and 60,000 on the budget 35. So the big change that was voted on or will be voted on by the board is to increase the budget for snow to 50,000. And doing it less than say 55, the board had looked to prior experience. And most of it is dictated by snowfall levels. But if we have, there was a lot of back and forth in the board, whether we had a tough year this year, or we didn't have that tough a year, but part of what was considered by the board was that it's the feel that the village residents want to have the roads cleared and passable. And that is not so easy to obtain. And after trying one firm or another, the impression that I get is that most people are very happy with the experience of the snow removal people for the past couple of years. So that being the biggest item, the other items that we did not come close to breaking through the tax cap, so that will remain something that will be in the favor of residents. And there were no other single item increases that were as big as the snow removal. So while I could go over it and go through some of them, that really is the end story of what's going on and what the board is trying to do.
Yeah, and just looking at the tax rate, it is increasing. It was 1841 per 100 of assessed value last year. It's moving to 18.69. It represents a 1.5% increase. And, as with everything right now, with costs going up across the board, that's where we are. But we felt like a modest increase keeps us in a much more predictable financial environment. So that's what the board felt on that. So I don't know if we have any comments regarding the proposed budget. Okay, no comments regarding the proposed budget. So we will close the public hearing for the village budget. The next item is the local law. We'll open the public hearing for the local law regarding placement of 5G wireless facilities in the village. This is a law giving us minimal control, but some control over where and when 5G wireless items are installed in the village. I don't know if Joe, you want to add anything to that?
So the regulation of 5G is governed by a declaratory ruling and order that came out about 3 years ago, and this local law follows that declaratory ruling. The amounts that are prescribed in here for applications and consultant fees, things like that, come right from the declaratory ruling, and also there's a maximum time period that the village can consider the applications that are filed for 5G placement. And once again, that comes directly from the declaratory ruling.
Thank you. Any public comments regarding 5G wireless facilities in the village? No public comments. So the 5G wireless facilities public hearing is closed. Next up is the public hearing. Let's open it for local law amending section 123-16H of Village Code. This was really just an editing issue that needed to be corrected in that code, replacing a village name with another village name. I think that was the extent of that. I don't know, any comments regarding local law 22 amending section 123-16H of Village Code? No public comments. Local law amending section 123, 16H of Village Code hearing is closed. And finally, the public hearing regarding the Altice franchise renewal agreement is open. Joe, did you want to add anything? I know you sent something out regarding that earlier today.
Yeah, I thought that the agreement was pretty close to something that we could adopt. And I appreciate the time that was put into this by Samantha from Cablevision. It's been a pleasure working with her on this. And there were a couple things, language changes that I requested, which I know that she has just gotten. I just was able to look through this. And what my recommendation would be, depending on what public comment there are and what Cablevision has to say, my recommendation is that you view this favorably, this agreement, subject to the my approval of those, language changes that were requested. And one of them has to do with the agreement refers back and forth to there being a fiber network or not being a fiber network. Hopefully Cablevision can clarify that tonight. Another comment that I had was I wanted to make sure that DVR services were included in the calculation of gross revenue. The village gets a payment from Cablevision of 5% of the gross revenues of Cablevision in the village. And another comment that I had was I wanted to make sure that the village received free service that's customary at municipal facilities. We have 3 municipal facilities. One is the Village Hall, and then we have 2 parks that are in the village that have requirements at those parks that we need to fulfill. And I think that was largely it. The rest of it, like I said, I thought that Cablevision did a good job on this agreement, which I appreciate.
So, Joe, this is John. So are you stating that we should have free Wi-Fi for residents in our parks?
No, the connection for I think you should request a connection for the village at each of the 2 parks. So the village could have a Wi-Fi connection for services that it needs.
At the park?
Yes,
I don't know.
For village operations or for residents' use?
for a village operation,
Such as?
such as security.
Right, if you
Lighting,
want to put cameras down there,
Oh, okay.
items like that.
For something in the future. We don't have that need.
We don't have it right now. Joe, we do not have an Altice representative here with us, right? Oh, I'm sorry. Here you are. I didn't know you were here. I think so you came in, I wasn't sure. All right, so,
For the record?
Would you mind having her at the table?
yeah, you can come on up if you want.
Okay, that'll be small. All right. I do have to comment, Joe's gonna be surprised, this Joe Gilroy, I've worked with Joe for 25, 30 years. This is my 3rd go around of the renewal in Poplar. I think the curtain's the same.
Well, hopefully we can
I
change
knew
it.
that may be, the curtain may be the same, but I will say with all certainty that this is the most quaint village hall in Suffolk County. So it's all of them. So where we are in the agreement, I agree with Joe, what he was saying, that I think we're very, very close. We got comments this morning. I'm sorry, did I send my full name?
I got it.
Okay, all right. It's Joan Gilroy, okay. We are very close, what was sent to us today, but as in most corporate structures, it has to go through the legal department, et cetera. So I can't give a complete approval at this moment in time. We have a couple of things. DVR is absolutely in the definition of gross revenues. So you would be getting on that service, on the DVR service. As to the fiber network, I think it's probably would just we're probably on the same page, Joe and I, and it's just semantics of what, the language that was used. Cablevision and LLCs, I have to get used to that. 27 years I said Cablevision. We have what we call a hybrid system. So it's a coax system. So we have fiber now that was built that we had done to the poles, and then from the poles to your home is still a coaxial system. So we call it a fiber network. The company hopes to get to the 100% fiber. I asked the question before this afternoon. They're telling me that they're really hoping by the end of 2022, but they are working on it, and that is a goal that it would be fiber straight to the home. All right, so we may just need to tweak the language there of what needs to be there.
Meaning that you would have to touch every home and change the cable of every resident who.
Not what I said, that asked the same question today of corporate. What are you going to do? Now you're going to go to every home in Suffolk County and start changing. It probably will be a change of if you're probably starting as a rollout. So if you're a new customer coming on, they would probably start you with the fiber. The changeover would be if you choose to probably go that route to get, because you're getting the service of the fiber. You're getting the service of the fiber. But yes, it would then have to come into your home.
How are you getting the service of the fiber if you have cable going in?
Through the line, because we have the fiber to the pole right now. Right. I understand the question. The capacity for us to transfer what we need to transfer over to the home is working on this coaxial system currently. Does it need to be changed? Yes. Does the company have that as the goal? Yes. We want to be 100% fiber.
So then what's going to happen by the end of 2022?
Well, we're hoping to be 100% fiber. So we're hoping to get to that point. That is the goal, to be 100% fiber system.
But not touching the houses and changing the cable? I'm not understanding this at all.
No, I think that's exactly what they're saying. I mean, I don't want to get too much into the weeds here, but I think they're just saying the goal is to make it go to every house, fiber connections, no longer coaxial, fiber to your home. And then whatever you have, and then, I mean, that's the goal they have. What are you going to do?
Yes, I can take that to specific, because when we struck into the weeds, it's not my department, but
That
is where we're headed.
That doesn't seem realistic to me.
Yeah, I mean, that's because what your comment is how do you get to every single home and change all that? Now, it'll be done in areas, communities, the same way when we rebuilt I'm going to dig myself, when you only had 66 channels here. That wasn't that long ago. It was only, maybe it was around 2000, beginning of 2000. We only had internet here back in 2010. So yes, it has to go on a rollout situation. But as to whether the companies, one of their goals is to bring it to 100%, because that's what you hear all the time, the fiber. So it is what they want to do. All right, and I think as to the facilities, the parks, et cetera, we do provide to municipal facilities the cable part of it, but I know some of you were asking about the Wi-Fi part of it. What it would, this is a cable agreement, not an internet agreement, it's not a telephone agreement, even though those are provided. So when we say that, it would give you the opportunity, if you had a modem there, to then go for cameras, you can go for that, which municipalities do.
Right.
So
that's something we want to keep in mind, so that
we would bring
establish that.
people, work on it, but it depends on how far, the distance, where it is, and all that kind of stuff.
So that'd be great to have. And then Joe, so what we would do is just when we get to the spot where if we approve to vote on it, we will approve pending language. Is that what we'll do?
If that's okay with you, yes. So normally Cablevision will support some kind of a community project. The public hearing really isn't the time to negotiate this, but Joan, will you be able to help out with the wireless at the beaches, at the two parks?
That I can't answer. I don't know. It all gets down to costs, and we have to figure that out. I don't know if we're talking. cost, it always depends on how close you are to the nearest plant. You know, if there's a pole right out there, you ask us to bring it in, it's a no-brainer. I don't know if the closest pole to the beach location, or the park location rather, how many feet away it is. And there is where the cost will come in. But we'll have to,
But we can reach out, who would we reach out to begin that
Rachel.
process? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, great.
I'll leave you with my card. But it would
Absolutely.
be frankly for Samantha had to be in Albany today, so she's not here this evening. But you would reach out to us and we would see what it is. and
Excellent.
Work with you on that.
Great. Any public comments regarding the Altice franchise renewal agreement? Okay, no public comments, so we'll.
I just have,
close.
I have
Oh,
two
go
other,
ahead.
a couple of things I wanted to mention. The first is that, I gave this, we've had the contract for about a month and I did give it a very good read. Joan and I have been working on other contracts, the last several weeks and days. So I knew in advance what, we've already fought over, not at your expense, but other public expense, what Cablevision would accept, what changes they would accept or not accept. So the fact that there were few changes was because I already knew that what would be a waste of our time to try to get change. So a waste of your time and money. So that I just wanted to make that point. So we actually have been working on the agreement, but we've been working on it through a series of other agreements that where the same points have been discussed. There were two. Joan, could you explain? Thank you for coming tonight, Joan. I couldn't see you, and I wasn't aware you were there. And thank you for your hard work with this. Joan, could you explain the rate increase that was explained the other night? Because we have gotten questions about that. And then also, in addition to the rate increase, one or two questions I've gotten had to do with how do you actually get a person to talk to a Cablevision? So when COVID started, understandably Cablevision stopped having live people to talk to, but that's never been restored, and it's virtually impossible if you have a problem to actually get somebody.
Okay, the rate increase, I'm not certain exactly, Joe, what you're addressing. Other than what I can say is rates have to be, the traditional cable rate on your particular packages, et cetera, is required by both state and federal to be noticed. So people the cable company has to notice. Now, just recently, I had a person who asked me about it. We checked on it. She said, nobody ever told me. Well, we went back and it was on the notice. Now, believe me, as working people, if you have a busy day, you go back and read the fine print on it, which has notice. I get it. It goes by. But that is. The other thing that's happening right now is, and some of what they were talking about, some of the rates, we try through our retention department when people call in there and they're not satisfied to offer. One of the things you take out of your toolkit is you try to offer something to get them to accept a retention, so we can keep them, right? And a lot of that was done within the last 2 years are coming to expiration. So that gets added on. Everybody's bill can be slightly different because of these different variations. So you could be on a promo and I'm not on the promo, so then yours goes off. That could be a difference. The other thing on the bill that also, which you're dealing with now, we didn't do years ago, is we're dealing with 3 different kinds of services. So when you see your bottom line, and I deal with this, I see my bottom line, and that's it. You got cable, you got internet service, and you have your phone service all on the same bill. So where we're trying to be competitive, and I think, Joe, this is what you were referencing that Frank talked about in Islandia, was that on the phone rates, we were coming up in more than internet rates. We were trying to come on par with our competition. So now you have the direct competition here because Verizon is in the village,
Mhm.
not in, is not in a major part of stuff. Well, that
Not
happens.
in a major part of Brookhaven.
Not in any,
Right.
only
We're the
in
only- Yeah,
Hopewell here, not in Port Jeff.
right.
Port Jeff doesn't have it, so there's very, very few. I'm trying to think of what else. I don't even know if it's in that, it's in Lake Grove.
Mhm.
Lake Grove, and so very few areas have it. By Verizon's choice, we couldn't keep them out. But, so what I was gonna say, competitively, this is what I was told, I actually found it out last night with the meeting when Frank explained it. Those were raised to be competitive with Verizon. But when you get your cable bill, as people have for 30 years, and you look at the bottom line, most of the time you're not looking down at every one of the items and all. So all of a sudden it goes up. It's not really your cable bill, it's the unregulated part, when I say it that way, or outside of the franchise, because you're paying for your phone and you're paying for internet, which is not part of the cable franchise. So I think that's, Frank, Joe, is that what you were talking about? the
I
raising
think
the-
that's correct, yeah.
Okay, and what we're doing is we hear it. And today I had an early conversation with Frank Oliva, who's on our immediate negotiating team, that's the attorney from LT. And we were discussing it, and just to let you know, it has been brought forward. We're continuing to bring it forward because we have this all going on at the same time. There may have been a slight, which I don't know, and I will get that answer. A slight increase probably in January of 2022. You have a slight increase. You have people coming off because the company made the decision that when these promo expirations happens, we're bringing people off, we're not offering more. We have the increase that came on the internet service. So people are looking at a $50 increase. Well, that's a lot of money. So look at a $50 increase when you get to them. So I was talking as a consultant, hearing what's going on out there. We were bringing it back and we said, they have to see, because what do you answer? That's hard. But we do, I'll share, we're doing the rollout very soon. The company spends a lot of money on listening, on focus groups to find out what's going on out there. So hopefully you'll start seeing a new image and more connection.
I'm the resident pain in Altice's butt.
I read the communicated back in 2021.
Okay,
Right,
so,
right.
but here's a couple of areas just from the village.
Mhm.
We've got you here, and you guys have done a lot to improve the situation, but, just your rates that you're speaking of, they also have this whole tier level that residents don't really know about. They don't know that they're paying for this speed versus this speed. There's all the different speed tiers that you have. And I actually had to put together a graphic to let people know, because when we were getting the complaints from residents, and I was working with the team and I was working with Frank too, a lot of it was that they were saying, oh, my internet's this slow, but that's what they were paying for. But I think it's almost, people not knowing that difference, you get a lot more complaints. And I mean, from our village, the number one complaint, as what Joe mentioned, is that your customer service, hopefully you did focus groups on that, because your customer service is the biggest complaint. Without me spearheading it and representing 30, 40 residents, nobody got an answer. We didn't have the trucks coming in. And even with that, the upper executive team, all the people I worked with, they were wonderful. But to get to them, I mean, I contacted customer service and had a discussion with them and said, I'm a trustee for the Village of Hopewell. I'm representing this many people. Can you get me a number, a fax number? And they told me to go look it up on my bill, which is, so your upper level is great, but your lower level, I mean, I'm just throwing that out there as a conversation, because that's your focus group, and that's what, if you want to know what our residents say, that's the complaint.
They have to reconnect.
On the level, because I don't make the phone calls for all my residents anymore. And it was 2 years before I got an answer, it was a long process, so. But thank you for coming and
No,
all the
yeah,
efforts
and I
you're
make,
making.
and I do take it back. You know, I do take it back. It's, you know, people do remember we're here a very long time, Cablevision. Well, I guess the only cable company on the island,
Mhm.
unless you were part of one of the mom and pops that they
Right.
acquired. And they had a couple of those out east and a couple in Islip. So they were used to a different time, you saw the trucks out all the time, you saw all different things of the feel of what went on. It was very local. It was very, very local. And then, you know, then it exploded and so there's different, then the internet came in, so you're absolutely right, all different categories. And we took, it really affected I shouldn't say the quality, but the communication during the pandemic, because the number of people that were working from home
Mhm.
and the capacity that was working from home. I mean, I'm old enough to know when we talked about bringing internet into the first time. Well, what do you think? People would have 2 TVs and 1 computer in the house? I mean, serious. It started with, oh yeah, you couldn't have 2 TVs and 1 computer. Yeah, during the pandemic, it exploded out east, where how many people came and went, and now all day long they're working on this stuff. So it wasn't even. So that
Yeah,
also, when
no.
you talk about speed, that's what I say. So.
I'm just throwing it out there,
But
you know?
no, but it's, for us, it's a serious situation, because all of a sudden, speed levels all day that are going before it used to peak the valley, and, you know, you had all that kind of stuff, and now all the kids are doing, through the pandemic, we're using the internet to do all their work, to be taught, their homework, everything is on. My grandkids are all on, I don't know what they're downloading, but all I know is they don't use paper and pencil anymore. So no, I appreciate it, and we
No
took it back,
problem.
and
And I
we're
appreciate
trying
you
to,
coming.
and the company is at that turning point right now. We're saying, okay, we had a lot of loyal customers on the island for a long time, probably 50, I'm trying to think, the Cablevision past 40 years, 50 years. And we'll refocus.
Great,
I'll
thank
bring
you.
it back. Thank you.
So I just have one other if I could just say one or two things. So when Joan said that we've been working together for 25 or 30 years, that's because we started working together when we were 10 years old.
Thank you, Joe.
And it's probably more than 30 years. But the, you know, I'm finding out from my not respective to Poquat, but, you know, I'm finding out from my children as they leave the house, and then I go to their apartment and I don't see a cable modem, and I ask them what cable company they have, and they don't even know what I'm talking about. And you know, the kids these days, young people these days, they're using the internet to access. It is true they're using it for their tablets and their laptops and everything else, but they're also using it to access, you know, Roku and whatever else they have. But the other thing is, Joan, can you please commit yourself to getting us a phone number and a series of prompts that will get the average person will get them to a live person that has a question about their bill,
Yes,
please?
yes, we'll make sure everybody here has the direct connection to either myself, which I'm not a direct employee, so either Frank or Samantha, and then we can go from there, because we can escalate. We have the ability to escalate to another situation, you know, beyond that. And so if you have a customer that's really in whatever serious situation.
What about just the regular customer in Poquat that has a question about their bill? All they want to have is a live person to ask a question about their bill. It doesn't have to be management or the legal team or anything. Like, who do they call just to get a question answered?
I definitely will ask that question to get it, to see what it is.
You know,
And I
bypass
appreciate
all
getting
the,
on, and yes.
that would be great. If that would be a great thing, and if you're looking for loyalty, to throw that out to our residents, that would be huge.
Okay,
All right?
and I'll
Yeah.
get that.
Thanks, Joe.
I'll get it back through. Sure, we can get that through you. Okay, we can work on that. It's fair enough.
All set?
Thank you, Mayor.
You bet. All right, with that, we will close the public hearing for the Altice franchise renewal agreement, and we'll move on to reports. Frank, public safety, or does Dave's got it?
Public safety report for April goes from March 10th to April 7th. Total calls for receipts service or information 54, incident reports documented 5, including one person with a knife on Walnut Avenue, one suspicious person on Harrison Avenue, one zoning violation, one building violation, 3 parking violations, 3 house checks conducted, 7 special events, and as of April 6th, 2022, the dealer has not returned a request for the status of the new car.
Okay. Great, thank you.
You're welcome.
Ron, treasurer's report?
Okay, I want to start out with a correction of the budget number that I gave. I said it was 50,000. At one point in time, we were talking about 50,000 for snow. The number is 55, which I felt more comfortable with, but we'll wait and see what happens next year. Other than that, on month to month, I've told you the same story month after month.
Take care.
It's always been snow. It's the leftovers of snow. It looks like it's going to be very close to a break-even year for the village without taking anything from the reserve funds.
That's great.
That's great.
That's, I know, well, I may have to revise that as we get close to the year end, but that's what it's looking like right now.
Don't worry
2
about
months left. Great, thanks, Ron. Court report, so Jacqueline will deliver that, we'll postpone that to next month. We'll get the full report next month with the December to June reckoning. That will open us up for public comments. We know we have some residents in the room. Are there any public comments? No public comments. All right, and that'll move us to resolutions. It's only the 3 of us right now. She didn't get back on yet, so we got to try. I would really like to have her back on before we.
It's still a form.
So far, all right. If everyone's comfortable, unless you want to wait for Dave.
What's the issue with it? She just lost a connection?
She lost a connection.
I sent her the phone number and I.
You want to give her 2 minutes?
You want to call her? Or-
If somebody had to get call her up put her on speaker, maybe.
Did we not have to have public comments on the code?
Nope, it's policy.
policy?
Right. So, Joe, I think the only resolution that needs to be adjusted here is regarding the language of the Altice agreement. So when we get to that, we'll just make that change.
Okay.
Do you want that on the record or not? Just like.
Yeah, that's fine.
I guess, do you want to ask Joe if, do you need to bid out playground? If
Oh, yeah, that was the other
it's a
question.
total of 15.
Is there, Joe, is there a requirement for us to bid out playground replacing in-kind playground equipment?
If it's equipment only with no installation service, then it's $20,000 or more. If there's work involved in the installation, then it's $35,000 or more. You even if it's lower than those amounts, you do have to get prices. It's in our procurement policy. You don't have to bid it out actually, but you have to call a couple places and get prices, estimates.
Perfect.
That's great. We can do that.
That's great.
All right, she's gonna try to get back on.
Okay.
She's trying right now.
That was a convenient dropout for her.
Yeah. So you guys going back to Hawaii?
Can I move there, please? So do we want to, if she's going to wait, we can, I guess, get started with the resolutions until,
Okay.
We can do it. Yeah. I guess. I texted her, she said she was gonna try to get back on, maybe she had an issue.
just say, tell your caller and just put on speaker.
Yeah.
Oh, someone's talking in.
Dave?
Okay, Chris, sorry about that.
No worries.
All right, let's go.
I got you. We're just getting started on the resolutions.
Okay.
Oh, and Joe just confirmed that the replacement of the playgrounds does not need to be bid out. We will have to get a couple phone calls out to companies for some pricing, but the number that you have out there is less than what would need to be bid.
Okay, so why don't I do this? Why don't I send the links to everybody? They can pick what they want, and I'll price it out, and I'll email it so we can have it ready to be approved at the next meeting.
That sounds great.
Okay.
Before we go to resolutions, what happened to, weren't we gonna have a discussion about One Oak, the trees?
We got the arborist letter.
Right.
And I reached out to DEC to see if we needed a permit for it, which we don't. We just need to take pictures of the trees. And I called the resident, and she will mark the trees and call me back when she's finished with that.
I have the
And then
pictures.
I will, the
We
four
want to look at
trees,
them. We want to look at them.
Yeah, we went to look at them. They're, I mean,
they're marked already, because she said
they're
they were marked.
they're not marked.
Yeah, that's all. We just need to mark, and then we'll get,
I just
and then we'll
marked
get tree
so that
companies
I
to come
can
do it.
call Hurricane or whoever. and-
Well, wasn't the resident, didn't they want to?
We don't
take them
want the resident doing work on village property. We're not covered for that. It's on
down? Would
village
it be the
property.
resident, or wouldn't it be a licensed tree company?
Right.
Like,
Licensed tree companies, anybody.
Our feeling, or at least my feeling, and I'd spoken with this with Joe, is that having residents perform services on village property is not, I didn't think it was the best idea to get into that habit.
I mean, I just think it would be a savings if the resident wanted to do it and they were gonna pay a licensed tree person. Maybe we could have somebody from the village on there to supervise it, or, I don't know, I was kind of.
I just don't know what our liability is there. It's on village property. I don't know, would those people have, I don't know how that would work. Joe, any thoughts on this?
What I would do is I would have the whoever it is going, give an estimate to the village, that give an estimate that's approved by the village. We have to make sure they have insurance, and if you want to do this, then we end up doing it with an obligation from the person that they're going to pay the bill, something like that. But I don't think that somebody else should contract. I don't think an owner should contract with their contractor to perform work on village property. I don't think we should get into that precedent.
And I think we should see what they're doing, because if they take down more trees than what they're saying, that's where we always get into the problems with the DEC.
And
Yeah, exactly.
I'm with Dee on this as well. I feel like this is I'd rather be in control of what happens on village property. I don't think it's smart to give that.
So what's the next step? We're gonna send our own tree person to go look at them. They're gonna mark it. We're gonna send our tree guy to look at it.
Not look at it, get them to take it down.
And I was just gonna call Hurricane also, because John Rasner is just a little expensive, and Hurricane is, usually less expensive, so.
I found the best view is less expensive. He does the flat fee of $1,400 a day or $700 a half a day, as opposed to the other ones that were higher.
Right.
But I don't care. I don't have a preference. Both of them are great guys.
Yeah.
So we
I mean,
keep them
if the
both
point,
The
if
last
the point of
couple
this,
John has been significantly cheaper than Hurricane. Remember, John did the tree for $900 when Hurricane quoted $1,400.
I don't think it's so bad to get, if we're gonna have them go, that they wanna bid for it, let's at least
Depending on
pay
how much it is, I might have
the
to
least
get
amount if we're gonna, if the village, what?
Depending on how much it is, I'm gonna have to get like 2 or 3 verbal quotes anyway.
Right, okay, all right, okay.
Joe, you were gonna
but
say something?
I just want to say, I'm sorry, Joe. You go first.
if the point is that we need to remove a tree that somebody's, that an expert certified as dangerous, we should just go ahead and remove it.
I think we're making it
But
more
it's more than one tree. And
It's
we have a
four of them.
resident who, like you said, Joe, is willing to pay the bill, which is fantastic. Wouldn't a scenario be where the village takes care of it, being supervised by our tree trustee, John, to make sure only those trees come down? And like Joe said, make an arrangement for them to pay the bill when the bill comes into the village. Couldn't we do that?
Sure, if they're willing to do it, yeah, definitely. That'd be great.
And to be honest, I mean, Tina and I went to go look at these trees, and to be honest, I would not want these trees hanging over my house. They are in bad shape.
But there's a couple that have there's two that have no relevance to their house.
To the house, but they do have relevance to falling. They're not in great shape, right? They're like what do you call them?
Those two. But there
Bifurcated or
was,
trifurcated trees.
there's other ones that are, well, I don't know. I'm just trying to.
Look, they've sent us a letter that these trees
No, I
are
understand. They need to
dangerous.
come down.
And the next step will be, what is it when they do, what's the next step that they do from there, Joe, if we don't respond properly?
They would, well, I don't want to give them legal advice publicly.
So
Well, the thing, they would, there's a process that they could go through to create a
Okay,
liability. I don't want to do that.
But we're all on the same page that the trees should come down. I thought, my impression was that they were saying, hey, if we can take them down, we can take them down. If they're not volunteering to do it, it's a different
No,
story.
they are. What I'm hearing is that Chris and Joe are saying, we don't want them to do it. We want to do it, and then either get the money back from them or not.
We just have to oversee it. There's residents aren't always great at only doing what they're saying they're going to do on village land. And I don't think we want to give them the control of our land. I think that's our premium. Those are our items. That's the most value we have. And unsupervised, we can't do that.
So it's a matter of just being supervised. I'm happy to be there and watch that happen. If you're okay with them hiring their own contractor and them paying them directly, or am I hearing that you prefer our tree guys to go and do it and then to
I
bill
would
them?
prefer to, if anything, that's what Joe suggested, is to have our tree guys do it and then submit a bill to them to pay if they're willing to do that. I can't imagine they wouldn't want it. I don't, I guess we could say that. I don't know. I would rather just get it done and just.
Honest, maybe they'll pay half the bill.
You know what? Well, that's almost what my feeling is, that two of the trees are really encroaching on their property, and there would be our responsibility. Two of the trees don't have really any relevance to their property, and they don't. One of them's already half down, so we would be clearing it almost, I feel like almost like a courtesy. So maybe if they want those rolled out, I can talk to them. I don't mind having a discussion with them.
All right, so feel them out and see how it is.
Seeing where they are, because I think that's fair.
But either way, we're going to schedule it and get it done.
And we can have our guys do it. I'll circle back with them and talk to them and see where they land. And if, I think if John wants to go there and watch it and they mark the trees.
No, we would have to do that because our guys will do it.
Oh.
Our guys will do it.
Okay.
Right, we don't
have to mark,
they get marked, we get our guys to it, we show them the trees, our guys cut out the trees and leave them to cut.
Right. You want to look at pictures of the trees?
I need the pictures of the trees.
I have the pictures of the trees.
Yeah, I need them.
Because there's two that are really, that I do think pose an issue. There's two right by their house, pose an issue with their house. It's a liability of ours. The other two don't really pose an issue with their house. So we're clearing them. Because then that means that residents can just come and say.
So the conversation I had with DEC is you can only remove them if they're dead. Are those two dead that they don't like?
So they have like 3 trunks. One's completely dead, the other 2 are alive. So the tree is dying.
She said to me where you get in trouble is if, the tree isn't dead.
They are damaged or dead trees. So whether it's completely dead or dying, they're decaying.
And that's what the
they're dangerous and decaying. That's the bottom.
The arborist letter said that about all the trees. So they got someone in who said it about all the trees. So they've already got the report.
Right, well, that's fine. So there's no problem with DEC. My point is, if we're trying to set a precedent for the village, here's the thing. 2 of those trees are relevant to their property. 2 of them are not. So now, if I have a tree that I don't like that's in California Beach and has no relevance to my property, now I'm setting the precedent where I can say, that is a tree that's dead over there, right? So I think, in fairness, the ones that pose an issue to their home, we should take care of. But if there's other ones, like.
It's close to their property, so if they're standing on their property and the tree falls, they'll get hurt on their property. It's not getting their house.
There's 2 that are right there in front of their house.
Clearly, those will hit the home.
But there's one that's all the way down by the park, and then there's one that's already half down.
But it's still close to their property, so if it falls on their property,
It's
they're
not
standing
gonna
on their
fall,
property.
it's already half down.
And it's not about falling on their property, it's about causing damage to their home.
If I'm
Or their
walking,
person.
yeah, but if I'm walking through the woods there and it falls, it's gonna cause damage to my person. I don't know, I think there's a way to split it where it's reasonable, because I don't want to set the precedent. That one all the way down by, there's one, the one that was all the way down by the beach, that has no impact on their house at all. And then, because they have the 4, but what if there's like 8 more and another resident says, and that one, and that one, and that one? I mean, we don't have to cut down every tree because.
Correct, only if it poses a danger to you.
So Joe, is there a way for us to say, we determine that these are so what are we saying? We want to battle against their report? So we
No,
have
I
to
don't want
battle?
to battle against.
I just don't know I don't know what.
I think we should do a letter agreement with them where either we'll take down 2 trees at our expense or we'll take down 4 trees and split it with them.
But now the concern that Tina's bringing up is irregardless of that. Her concern is that they want to get a tree down that is far away from their property and poses no threat to their home. Unless it falls in the right direction, it might land on their property.
Yeah, but any tree in the village, most of the trees in the village would be that story.
So how do we dissuade residents from doing what Tina says they might do, where if you see a tree that's a distant tree, but if it falls in the right direction, it'll land on your property, and I get an arborist report to get rid of that tree, how do we defend against that?
We have no obligation to remove trees that might fall on somebody's property. We probably have an obligation to remove trees or fix trees that might fall on their house. The fact that a tree might fall on somebody's property, I don't think is a realistic.
That's what I'm
Yeah, so
saying.
these are also dead or decomposing or dangerous trees. They're not just trees that might fall. These are trees that, and we have an arborist saying they are dangerous or decaying or dying.
Look,
So
you're
it's
gonna
different.
have your tree guy come and look at it. He's probably they probably are arborists too. Have them look at, if they're gonna come quote it, have them look at the 2 that are in question, the 2 that are near their property.
Let them mark it. Let them mark it.
Let them mark it, but if we're gonna quote it out to Hurricane, have them go look at it and say, are these, because the ones that are near their property, they're flowering. They're flowering right now.
Part of the tree's flowering.
Part of the tree's flowering, but it is near their property. It could fall on their house. The other 2 are not gonna fall on their house. So I think the other 2, we're setting a bad precedent by taking the other 2 down, if we don't have to. So let's have let's do the right thing with the 2 that are there, absolutely. But have somebody else look at the other 2 and say they have to come down, and then we'll take them all down,
I would say let them mark the 4 of them so we can confirm that we are all talking about the same trees.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
Let
then-
them mark them, and then let's have our people look at them. I think 2 of them, personally, I think 2 of them have to come down. I think 2 of them don't pose a problem to their property, and unless our arborist says that tree is so dead, then I don't know if they need to go,
Chris?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry, it's Frank. I just want to remind the board that there is in place a cease and desist order for One Oak to conduct any work on village property there, including removing trees, cleaning up any debris, and any paths. So I just want to remind the board that that was in place and something that would have to be pulled back if that was the case.
What happens, can they mark the trees then?
Yeah, they can mark them. They just can't do any clearing of land or clearing of debris in the village property. They can't disturb village property.
Right. I mean.
So that's where we're at then. We will have our, whoever it's gonna be, come in. We need the residents to mark the 4 trees that were in the report. Our guy will come in, he will, the 2 that are on their property that will fall in the house, those are gonna come down.
Yeah.
The other 2, our guy will take a look at them, and he'll give us an assessment,
And then we can make a
and then we can make a determination after that.
I think that's
That's where we are. Right.
Send them a letter if it's not warranted, if it's not, and if the guy comes in and determines that they're not gonna fall down, send them a letter, these trees are warranted, as by our arborist, to come down at this time.
It's possible, but then you got 2 arborists saying, one saying it is and one says it
Right.
isn't. And
Well, we'll
from
cross
a
that
legal
bridge.
standpoint, you
We'll-
gotta say, you know.
We'll cross that bridge when we get there, but I think that's a good solution for now. We can
Cross
do
that
that.
range.
And, and then Frank, I don't know, or when was the last time you guys were over there?
We could go.
We can, yeah, we'll-
No, because I'm just saying that there's been,
Oh, DEC went over there
And-
and they did not see any fresh cutting. I got a resident
Okay.
complaint that there were more trees being taken down.
I don't think there's any more trees being taken.
From what I understand, so their drive,
Right.
their driveway is our village
Andy, you
property.
gotta say your name and.
Yes.
Oh, Andy Litter,
Thanks.
yes, that's true.
okay. That's village, that's Oak Street.
That's right.
Village property.
That's right. Thank you. All right, so
So we're good,
Good.
sorry, yeah.
we are going, so resolutions, good. All right, folks, resolutions. Resolution number 04-2022-1. Resolution adopting April 7, 2022 agenda as printed. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Resolution 04-2022-2, resolution accepting the monthly reports from April 7th, 2022. So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Resolution 04-2022-3, resolution adopting the minutes from March 10th, 2022 work session of the Board of Trustees. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Resolution 04-2022-4, resolution adopting the minutes from the March 10th, 2022 business session of the Board of Trustees. So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Resolution number 04-2022-5, resolution to schedule the Village of Poquat Board of Trustees work session meeting beginning at 6 PM on May 12, 2022, with the business meeting to follow immediately. I know that we have scheduling issues, but we'll take those up after the meeting. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Resolution 04-2022-6, resolution setting the village election for Tuesday, June 21st, 2022, for the position of mayor, 2 trustees, with voting to be at the village hall from 12 PM until 9 PM. So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Resolution 06-2022-7, resolution approving Joe Newfield as deputy election official for the June 21st, 2022 election. So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Resolution 04-2022-8, resolution directing Clerk Schleider to schedule call ahead for the 2022 season. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye, definitely.
Resolution number 04-2022-9, resolution adopting the fiscal year 2022-2023 budget as proposed by Village Treasurer Ron Polito. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Resolution 04-2022-10, resolution approving the cable franchise agreement between Cable Village and Village of Poquat contingent on Joe's.
Joe, what do we want to word that there?
Yeah.
So the wording is in the written resolution that the village has, the full, and it's amended as follows. Resolution approving the cable franchise agreement between Cablevision of Brookhaven and the Village of Poquat, subject to village attorney approval of the agreement language. subject to village attorney approval of the agreement language.
So moved.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, so bear with me. Resolution 04-2022-11. So resolution awarding a contract for street sweeping to Eastern Environmental in the amount of $1,525 per day with a disposal rate of $525 per transport. And we should add $80 per cubic yard, not to exceed $5,000.
Yeah, I mean, I would say 3,000. I think we should, that would be, oh no, 5,000. Yep, 5,000.
And authorizing the mayor to execute the contract. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Did you get that? Is that
I
okay?
got it all.
Give it adlib.
Do improv.
Resolution 04-2022-12, resolution directing clerk to notice bids for drain cleaning. So moved.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Resolution number 04-2022-13, resolution approving an updated code enforcement policy to include use of firearms section. So moved,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Resolution 04-2022-14. Resolution adopting lead agency status for purpose of SECRA with regards to adopting Village Code Local Law of 2022 regarding Local Law of 2022, creating Chapter 151, telecommunications facilities, and determining that the adoption of the local law is an unlisted action for purposes of SECRA. That the adoption of the local law will not have a negative impact on the environment, and adopting a negative declaration. So moved.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Resolution 04-2022-15. Resolution adopting local law of 2022 regarding local law of 2022, creating Chapter 151, telecommunications facilities in the village. So moved.
Second, all in favor?
Aye. Resolution 04-2022-16, resolution adopting lead agency status for the purpose of SECRA with regards to adopting Village Code Local Law of 2022, amending Section 123-16H of the Village Code and determining that the adoption of the local law is an unlisted action for the purposes of SECRA, that the adoption of the local law will not have a negative impact on the environment, and adopting a negative declaration. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Resolution number 04-2022-17, resolution adopting local law of 2022, amending section 123-16H H of the Village Code. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. 20 unpaid bills. County Financial, 129. Earth
You guys there?
Yeah, I think we got disconnected from them.
Oh, well, I'm here. Can you hear me?
I hear you.
Can you hear me?
Okay.
There we go.
Yeah, I can
How
hear
you doing?
Joe. Joe and I are on a party line.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second.
All right, well, thank you both of you for your assistance in our policy. I appreciate it.
Okay,
Thanks,
here we go.
Frank.
We're back
Having a
in.
good night.
Bye-bye.